Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it out. Tonight, we gonna let it out. Tonight, we gonna let it out. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it out. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it out. Tonight, we gonna let it out. Tonight, we gonna let it out. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it out.
There I am. Hello, everybody. Welcome into tonight's live. I don't know why it keeps putting me on the corner like that, but it does. So welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Hopefully you guys are having a great Thursday, one day closer to Friday. It is the 27th of March, flying through this month. Like I said, every night, you guys could actually probably put me on like clockwork, what I'm going to say. But my name is Tanya, or TitaniumBuilt, if you're new to the channel. And if you're a returning Titan, welcome back for another live. I appreciate you guys coming and joining me tonight. We do have some more documents to read through, but these are better documents. So at least it's not as boring. I try to keep the documents fun in a way that keeps your attention though. So sometimes it seems like it never ends. Oh, I think you were talking to someone else. How are you doing there, Ladybug? Hey, Wolf. I know that a lot of times they'll delete comments if the comments are put in like a certain amount of time, like hours before the live, which I think is so ridiculous. And you're in the Cincy area, me too. I'm close to there anyway. Been to Michigan though, yeah. My boyfriend used to live in Michigan, and he went to Ohio State. We'll let him slide. We'll let him slide. And welcome in, everybody. It's good to see you guys. Hey, Princess, how you doing tonight? Hopefully you're having a great day. Hey, just lurking. The trial will be moved by the defense. Has totally hurt them. Yes, yeah, it has. Says I'm here for it. At this moment, I think he's just one responsible. Yep. Yeah. It could be. I think that he's the only responsible, only because it was done so stealth-like. I think that if there was more than one person, it would get a little sloppy and it would get a little like messier, if that makes sense. But I love the name Just Lurkin. But you never know. You never know. We're going to find out soon enough. About 4 months till trial, but 3 months, close enough. Hey, Catherine. Hey, Ladybug. Or Ladybug. Hey, Mary Beth. I meant to say Mary Beth, but you were saying Ladybug's name. Welcome in, everybody. Hey, Michael. It's good to see ya. If I missed you guys, I'm sorry, by the way. I'm trying to get everybody. Oh, Mary Beth. Aren't men just the craziest? But, no, you know. I read your next message. Not as crazy as yours, but you know. Yeah. It's okay. We love you. We understand. And I love it when people are tying for first. Hey, Ange. Is that a picture of you and your husband? That's a lovely picture if it is. You guys look like you're all dolled up. Very, very nice. I want to get dressed up and go somewhere. Mr. Rosebud said hit the lights. I did as soon as you said that too. I tried to anyway. I was like, oh, you got to get on there. Hey, Tony. Welcome in. It's good to see you guys. It's good to see everybody. The classic ones in here. And I love that people came back. Because earlier today, you guys didn't even see my face. I wasn't even on camera. And it's not very often that I'm not on camera. And usually if it's like a morning during like the mid-morning or morning, I might not be, just because I'll come in here on the whim and get on. But I don't know why. I wasn't on camera today because I had just finished working out. That's why. And I looked crazy. Yes. Thanks, Wandering Orphan. Hit that like. Hey, Lisa. And I try to get to everybody. So hopefully we saw everybody. Hey, Jesse's Girl. That's a cute name. Now that song's going to be in my head. That was at your son's wedding in August. Well, he must have had a beautiful wedding. Beautiful, beautiful couple. Hey, DM. Hey, Ivy. It's good to see ya. It's always good to see ya whenever you're in chat. It's not very often we get Miss Ivy in the chat. Oh, thanks, Ladybug. Been a member for 15 months. My goodness. It seems like we're celebrating your 14th month. These milestones, we got to get Vincent on them milestone emojis. He's actually taking the day off tomorrow to be with me. So maybe we can get him to do those tomorrow. He'll have an extra day off this week. So as you guys know, we have been going through the new documents that have come out in the Idaho 4 case. There have been a slew of new documents that have come out in this case. I think there were like 25 or so. I didn't count, but visually looking at it, it was about 25 or so. We went through all of the defense's filings over the last couple of lives, and now we're going to hear from the state. So I basically was going through some of the documents earlier. They're very redundant, but I saw this document and I was like, oh, this is the one Ashley was talking about, because one of our very awesome members was talking about a part of the document where Brian Kohlberger, he was, I guess, at DeSales University, and he wrote this crime scene scenario, like it's a final for like a paper. It tells like what you would do when you arrive at the crime scene, how to prepare, kind of like Rex Heuermann in a way. But with Brian Kohlberger, instead of his just like laying around the house, you know, he did his in Word format to where he could put them into his school projects. A little bit of a difference there. There is Aries. I was thinking of you earlier, Aries. Hey, KCG. How are you doing? She did? Ooh. Oh, she did? What do you think? You think you think she's gonna get it? I don't know. That man, I think they're all wrong. At this point in my life, I feel like everybody's just wrong. I'm glad I'm not involved in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that, you know, when people try to come over here, I don't bite. I don't take the bait. That, and I don't check my emails very often. So if you don't check your emails very often, then you know, when people send you stuff that's like crap, because sometimes it's a lot of crap, you don't get it. You don't see it. We used to have actually someone on the platform. She used to always want to come up on your panel and she'd want to feed you loads of information, but it was disinformation. Like none of it was correct like, at all. So, yeah. Oh, I don't think anything. I feel like it's all a waste of time. So I think all of it hasn't been looked at by a judge. That's what I've been thinking in my personal opinion, humble opinion. I don't know. I quit reading them after the first initial filings. So maybe there's stuff in there that I haven't seen, but from what I have seen, it doesn't look like none of it is going anywhere. But we'll see. We'll definitely see. You know, I might eat my words. You never know. Okay, so Brian C. Kohlberger, and it says Professor Dave Sepp, and it must be his class CJ 361, Criminal Justice 361. And this was done 5/5/2020. So he wrote this, and it's 14 pages, I believe. So get comfortable, get yourself a drink. You might need it. Get yourself a snack. Like me, like I had popcorn for breakfast this morning at 7:00 this morning. Don't ask me why, but I did. I was so hungry. And this was like, we have like, no, we need to go to the grocery store. I was like, make me popcorn. I felt like I was like coming out of a drunken stupor or something, and I don't drink. Hey, Cyber Warrior. Ooh, the big ones, Wandering Orphan. I really do want to get a big one, like the big beds for the dogs. Doing sourdough. Look at that. Hey, Naomi. Bullshit me. Catherine, right? That's why I wanted to do this one tonight. I was like, let's do this one tonight. Yeah. So I want you guys to remember the night of the homicides and, you know, everything that we know about this case. And then, you know, let's just put it into, you know, this theory that he has. So arriving at the crime scene, I bet it doesn't say go around 3 times and, you know, back up, keep going, back up again. I'm kidding. So it says arriving at the crime scene, the first thing to be done is block off the crime scene in order to avoid crime scene contamination. Okay. Keeping people out of the scene minimizes evidence contamination, though many may be curious to see what occurred. The theory of transfer states that we bring something with us to the crime scene and take something away, thus skewing the crime scene from the original state by contamination. This is because the original state of the crime scene was left by the criminal suspect. A lack of contamination allows the scene to be a snapshot in time. The curious must be noted and immediately evicted from the scene. Now, I don't know about that. You're going to have curious people showing up at a crime scene. Maybe he was thinking people that, you know, are a little more curious than most. People to be kept out of the scene include unauthorized civilians and any more than the absolute minimum number of law enforcement agents and forensic crime processors. Waiting for backup to arrive, I should stand guard at the scene, preventing these unauthorized people and even holding back eager officers from entering the scene. I must call my immediate supervisor and inform them of the deceased white female, who is approximately 35 years of age. Don't know how we got there, but we did. I must obtain an initial search warrant to search the scene. Failing to do so will mean that evidence is inadmissible. I can't ever say that word. Inadmissible. There we go. This is another reason why holding personnel from entering is key. The coroner must be called in order to pronounce the woman dead, and EMS should be called if they were not already called by the patrol officer 15 minutes earlier, as they would have provided emergency care if the woman showed signs of life. This would have been important for many reasons. Her livelihood is one reason. but from the stance of a patrol officer or criminal investigator, she may have been given a dying declaration of her attacker when informed of her impending death. Yeah, but dying declarations they're very touchy. I'm gonna be grading this paper here. Forensic services are next on the list to call as they are best equipped to handle the evidence, process it, and ensure that there is not any contamination. Their van also contains the best equipment for forensic investigation. A cursory search of the immediate area should be done, and any observations should be recorded in my field notes as to ensure the integrity of the preliminary case report. Officers who are not needed at the residence should ensure that the general area is searched for anything that stands out as well. This includes the area of the trailer park, which contains 62 trailers. Must be a trailer park that they're dealing with. If there is anyone, in the trailer, they should be moved out and questioned. Does she have kids? I should gather the following information in my notes as the investigation commences, which will later be included in my preliminary case report when the details of the case accumulate. The offense, the time of day, date and approximate time of offense, if known, identification of victim, the location of the offense, the method of operation, if known, and the identification of the officer. Since the offender was not there, I would be unable to record this information initially, and the specifics of the crime won't be known until confirmed by the crime lab. Getting the approximate time is important and can be indicated by rigor mortis, which sets in about 12 hours, or putrefaction about 10 to 20 days. Putrefaction, man. Oh. All this information will aid me as I attempt to reconstruct the scene of the crime based on the evidence location in relation to its former known position. And then the equipment I will have on hand for the investigation. I remember when I was in school for criminal justice, they sent me, it was like a DNA kit, like the kit. It was so cool. I thought it was so cool. And you could learn how to do like fingerprinting. You got like little tweezers and stuff to pick up fibers and things of that nature, little baggies, evidence bags, stuff like that. I could just picture Kohlberger putting together a kit like that. I don't know why, I just can. To be prepared for crime investigation, I must ensure I have a crime toolkit containing the following. Oh, there it is. Here it comes. A 35 millimeter camera or digital camera capable of videotaping with adequate supply of film and power. A portable lighting system to ensure quality photographs and that I do not miss or step over any evidence. Assorted steel tape measures that can reach at least 25 feet. A ruler or other measurement marking devices. Latent fingerprinting equipment. Gloves to protect the scene from contamination. This will enable that I avoid leaving my latent fingerprints. Forceps and small tweezers and a pair of scissors. Did they give you the same toolkit or little kit? A small saw to take evidence, for example, drywall. Filter paper or small swabs for liquid evidence or trace evidence. Various evidence containers for liquid and solid evidence. I swear it's the same thing. Paper envelopes for physical evidence. Evidence tapes to seal off evidence containers. Casting material to take molds of possible finger or footprints around the perimeter with a rubber container for the mixture. A magnifying device should be kept. Crime scene tape for the scene. Protective clothing, boot covers, eyewear, fiber-free overalls, face masks, hair nets, gowns, and anything that will prevent me from contaminating the scene with things I bring in with me. A light blue with yellow glasses, which makes small trace evidence more visible, can be used to ensure that a photo is taken of all evidence. There could be a very small amount of blood somewhere, which wouldn't have been sampled, documented, or photographed otherwise. Kind of like a latent print. Entering the home for crime scene documentation and initial photography/videography. I may enter upon judicial approval of the search warrant and should do so with the minimal number of personnel. Having too many people evident in the photography may put the integrity of the evidence into question and taint the scene. A contamination list may be made documenting every person who enters and exits the crime scene and why. This includes first responding officers, firefighters, EMTs, family members, criminal investigators, and all crime scene personnel. Still, there should not be that many people in the crime scene. Otherwise, contamination will be increased as the theory of exchange inevitably manifests. I must ensure that myself and my fellow crime scene personnel are wearing gloves and other protective equipment as to avoid contaminating the scene with latent fingerprints. A fiber-free boot cover would also be ideal to avoid leaving physical footprints or residue from the boot. They taught him well. Anything that is fiber-free and covers the mouth, hair, and overall body would be helpful in avoiding crime scene contamination, since hair, saliva, skin cells, and other bodily fluid or cells may be added to the scene, thus contaminating it. Kind of like him having the balaclava. So is that how you say it? I don't know how to say it. If that's how you say it, then yay for me. But that covered his. So this whole time I've been screaming, that the mask that was described by DM said that it covered his nose and his mouth. Well, that definitely does that. The balaclava or whatever it is. She didn't say that it covered his hair, but it could have been so dark, like in that little hallway, that she maybe didn't notice that part of it, or maybe she did. I mean, there are drawings of her drawing what looks like a balaclava, but we will see whenever we go to trial what she has to say about that. But he is saying that, anything that covers your hair and your overall body is going to be better because, it's not going to flake off into the crime scene. So fibers can be left via the theory of exchange and would contaminate the crime scene from its initial state as the offender left it. Even if we can't assume that there was an offender despite seeming obvious, preventing contamination is an important way to ensure the integrity of the investigation and evidence. We should always treat the crime scene as if there is indeed a criminal homicide, as to not miss out on important details. That is how this crime scene is being handled. Yeah, this is his crime scene. That's how it's being handled. The first thing for me to do is to take a coordinated series of crime scene photographs with a digital photography device or a 35mm camera from a natural point of view. These photos must be taken prior to the movement of any object in the crime scene to ensure that the photo captures the scene as the offender left it. Do you think he stopped and took pictures? I don't think he did. I don't think he would. I think that he would be I think that'd be a dumb thing to do and to keep him. But wasn't there pictures found inside of a glove, inside of a box or something though? Or those were IDs, I think maybe. They were either IDs or they were pictures. Yeah, I'm just, hey, Lord Mama. Hey, get to the ducking point. Welcome in. Yeah, I don't think that he would do it. I think that would just be too much. Do you know what I mean? And I think that if he did do that, I mean, he would have had to get rid of them or bury them. Could bury them. Well, look at Mary Beth over here gifting out memberships. Thank you. Thank you, Mary Beth. Hey, Shop Smart. He wouldn't have had time. You're right. But I guess it only takes a second to do a picture, click, go. I don't know. I don't think he did, but man, Selectively Social got it. Okay. I just thought I'd ask. Where were we? The first thing for me to do is to take a coordinated series of crime scene photographs. Okay, we read that part. These photos must be taken prior to the movement of any object in the crime scene to ensure the photo captures the scene as the offender left it. The photograph should be taken from a general view of the exterior of the home as well as a general views of the interior, recording the time and details of the photograph in my notes. Setting up portable lighting ensures that the elements of the crime are adequately illuminated for photographic documentation. And we saw them with their lights inside of the 1122 King Road house, so I guess Brian would approve of that. The photo should be in color as to provide the best, most accurate image, thus avoiding photographic distortion. The following details regarding photography should be recorded in the field notes and on the back of the photos if possible. Recording these details will ensure that the defense attorney does not attempt to devalue the quality of your evidence, which may make it inadmissible. Data to identify the subject of the photograph, but without too much unnecessary information. The location of the photograph, including the state, city, and street address. The identifying data of the photographer, including the name, police agency, badge number, and identification number. The case number, if established at the time of dispatch. The precise time of the photograph. The date of the photograph was taken. The weather at the time, the photograph equipment used, including shutter speeds, film type, and developing and printing techniques. He's going above and beyond. Next, photos of specific rooms should be taken with special attention to the living room in which the deceased woman was found. As the coordination of photos is focused inward, specific components of the crime, like physical evidence, should be accounted for and detailed. These should also be logged in my field notes. This physical evidence should be photographed next to a measurement marker, which can be a ruler or any other easily comparable object of well-known size. The body and physical evidence of a picture. The body and physical evidence to take a picture prior to collection from the forensic services and criminal investigator includes the deceased woman in the living room, who should be photographed under adequate lighting from a long view. Specific shots should be focused on the evidence of harm on her body and clothing. The bruises on her face, the marks on her neck, the bloody shirt, and any other signs of postmortem lividity should be photographed and taped without moving the victim. A measurement marker should be placed next to her. This will show if an offender moved the woman as to manipulate the crime scene. Does she have defensive wounds? Are there hesitation marks on her related to the knife? Or are there multiple stab wounds? Well, I mean, that's a coincidence, right? Okay. Does she have defense wounds? Are there hesitation marks on her related to the knife? Or are there multiple stab wounds? I wonder if Maddie Mogan had any hesitation marks. Because, I mean, it's one thing to think about it, I feel like, and plan for it, but it's another thing once you're there and you're in the moment. These must be photographed and taped. Is the mark on her neck related to the hanger near her? The photographs will make it sure that these items were indeed present at the crime scene. Most of these questions are speculated until absolutely confirmed by the forensic medical examiner, who can use scientific equations to determine the approximate time of death. This is a maxim that stands even when the scene seems to point to the obvious. The time of death is never entirely accurate. I'm going to blow this up a little bit more. That's better. But the photographs can aid in this process as they capture phenomenon such as rigor mortis or putrefaction when the woman was found. The knife should be photographed under adequate light, and a marker should be placed next to the knife to give the best photographic representation of the evidence. This misshapen coat hanger should be photographed under adequate light, and a measurement marker should be placed next to the evidence. The upended furniture and children's furniture should be photographed firstly from a long view and then focused specifically on each piece of furniture under adequate lighting with a measurement marker. All of this should be well documented in the field notes and on the photograph. Is there any sign of forced entry to the home? This would be evident by broken glass from windows and prime marks on the doors or windows surrounding the house. This should be photographed, videotaped, and documented. If there is not forced entry, it may be suggested that the woman knew her killer. A video camera will be used as well to go over all the evidence which was photographed. Documentation of the video evidence should also be filled out and recorded in the field notes. So then we go to the, the crime scene sketch. Isn't this wild? So basically what we're reading through is Brian Kohlberger's, it's a paper he wrote for a final in 2020, but it's a go-to kind of for committing crime and how you would, leave a crime scene to where there would be less evidence that you were there. And so he goes through different sections. So the next section he's going to go over is the crime scene sketch. So these are Brian Christopher Kohlberger's words. These are his words. I'm just reading them off the paper to you. So this is what he was thinking in his head when he was writing this paper, for his final. The crime scene stretch occurs after the scene was initially searched, photographed, and videotaped. The stretch is of great value in criminal court. This stretch should first be done in pencil to ensure that the sketch accurately portrays evidence and measurements pertaining to the crime scene. The final version will be done in non-perishable ink via pen. The physical evidence of the crime scene, which includes but is not limited to the knife, misshapen coat hanger, furniture, as well as any other biological evidence like bodily material or fluid, should be drawn out in accurately measured portions from each other and pertinent objects in the crime scene sketch. The final search and confirmation by the forensic processing unit and investigator will determine whether this was all the physical evidence at the scene. New evidence can be added to the crime scene sketch when new measurements are taken. The distance from pertinent fixtures should be accurately recorded and depicted. The crime scene sketch should be measured by the criminal investigator and accurately displayed the proportions of the physical evidence. Any inaccurate portrayal of the location of evidence can influence the juror perception of the guilt or innocence of the suspect. While you do not need to be an artist, the responsibility of sketching should be taken with accuracy and a goal for a clear portrayal in mind. Though I can assign another officer to sketch it, I have decided to take this task on. A 25-foot steel measuring tape should be used to record these exact and accurately recorded measurements of the physical evidence and pertinent objects in the house. Yeah, he didn't want to bring in another cop to do it, because he said he could do it on his own. No, but he did say that because he wants less officers in the crime scene, the better. So that is true. Too much detail shouldn't be included in the sketch as to avoid confusion. Movable items related to the crime scene convey details irrelevant to the crime and will be avoided. Okay. Extraneous detail, including movable furniture, may cause issues if jurors recognize that items in the house were moved after the fact. This would be equivalent to crime scene contamination and may render evidence inadmissible. The living room should be sketched out with the deceased woman being drawn in proportion to the knife, coat hanger, upended furniture, and children's furniture, walls, and the permanent objects in the house. Other rooms that are relevant should be included in the sketch. I've decided to use the rectangular coordination method with 2 right angles being outlined in proportion to the physical evidence and permanent fixtures centering around the living room. A projection can be used to document biological/trace evidence like blood or stains, blood stains or physical evidence or other physical evidence that imprinted on the walls. Bullet holes would be something that should be ruled out. And if bullet holes are present, they should be documented on the 3D exploded sketch before the drywall is removed via saw. So that's what they did. They did 3D animations of the house. Though it appears obvious that the knife was used in this crime, we do not know this for sure and should make sure to document everything and look for less apparent evidence. Even if there was an item introduced to the scene by an offender to throw off investigators, it is not the job of the criminal investigator processing the crime scene to jump to conclusions. The crime lab will be able to decipher with scientific certainty what is and is not an original element of the crime. Staging is common. For example, the offender may have taken items from the house to make it look like a burglary turned robbery, which went wrong. The official crime preliminary report should include the accurate sketch and the following details included. Okay, so they want this with the sketch. The name of the investigator and identifying badge number, a detailed location of the scene, such as the city, state, and street address. The living room should be noted as the center of the sketch. The date and the exact time the sketch was first drawn in pencil, the evidence listing / key, which shows evidence as it corresponds to a letter or mark indicated in said key. The case number of the investigation, a compass arrow to give direction. The scale of the sketch should be included, or the words not drawn to scale. I am choosing to draw it to scale, where 1/4 inch equals 1 foot. Man, you're just going above and beyond, aren't you, Brian Kohlberger? The computer-aided design program, which uses laser lights and takes up to 25,000 measurements per second in 3D, may be utilized if available for the scale of the scene is most accurate. 25,000 measurements per second. Wow. I would request the CAD if available, for it gives the best portrayal of this serious crime, allowing for an accurate point of view and zooming of particular elements of the crime scene. The more comprehensive crime scene search using the strip search method. In order to collect evidence from the interior of the residence, I will assign roles to officers on the scene, briefing them to watch where they are stepping and not act impulsively or without great care. Hasty actions will lead to valuable evidence being trampled and lost. The strip search method is what I have decided on, as it allows for the interior of the crime scene to be searched from one end to the other with more than one officer or forensic processing unit. The exterior of the property should be searched from one end to the other as well, switching to a grid search if necessary. Walking from one end of the scene to the opposite end of the scene, I will then turn around and cover ground to the right or left without stepping on the same spot twice. The rooms of the trailer should be searched in this method with special attention to the living room where the victim lies. Assigning a CSI or officer and myself to do this section would allow that the scene is thoroughly checked. As I move from one end to the other, I will make sure that I shine my flashlight ahead of myself to ensure that I do not damage or carry away smaller pieces of physical evidence. Smaller items of physical evidence include wood chips, hairs, paint flakes, glass fragments, or small fibers. If not careful, these may be lost before even accounting for or observing them. If new pieces of evidence are uncovered, I will take note of it for documentation and photography and videography. I cannot talk tonight, y'all. Okay. Glad that we all established that. Tanya has read too many documents today. Things such as footprints inside and outside should be prepared to be photographed and videotaped. I must photograph and videotape the new evidence as well as log it with the following information and account for it in the crime scene sketch. The time and date of evidence discovery, the location that I found the evidence, the name of myself or whichever officer, CSI, or criminal investigator discovered it. As this is a serious crime, I have chosen that specialized crime scene personnel will assist me. A description of the evidence, any underlying marks to further detail the evidence, marks, the name of the officer who witnessed the find. This will ensure that there is no question that this was indeed an element of the original crime scene. This will save the investigator setbacks in court. All the information that is carefully recorded regarding the crime scene evidence aids the crime report. The location of this evidence is very important, for it may give us all the following information. Establish the tracing of or identification of the suspect. Establishing the suspect's modus operandi, the MO, or identifying similar MOs via information added to the FBI's Violent Criminal Apprehensive Program, VICAP, from the completed crime report, confirming alibis or exposing lies, disproving the alibi, connecting suspects to the crime or eliminating suspects, the identification of contraband, stolen property, and other illegal items, identifying victims if they are not identified. For example, we can't assume the woman lives at the residence before confirming it. A dead body may not be initially tied to the residence. Providing investigative leads, for example, checking into the husband or boyfriend and the location of the children based on the crime scene evidence is warranted. Providing a statutory element of the offense is another one. Welcome in, Zaza. Tempest, welcome in, everyone. Hey, Jenna. So then he goes on to talk about, this is Brian Kohlberger, the collection of items of evidence. Like the crime scene photography, larger items of physical evidence are taken first. This includes the disheveled furniture and children's furniture, cell phone and computer, the knife and coat hanger. The body will be taken later by a CSI with the coroner for custody to wait for analysis by a forensic medical examiner trained to perform the autopsy. The knife should be examined for latent fingerprints to be logged separately. Same with the coat hanger, doorknobs around the house, upended furniture, cell phone, and virtually any physical evidence big enough to grab. Crimes of passion are rooted in emotionality and impulsivity. If this is the case, we can likely count on there being latent fingerprints on the doorknob and all over the knife and victim. Smaller items of biological or trace evidence, such as hair fibers from clothing, must be collected using metal forceps or tweezers as to avoid damaging this delicate evidence, which may hold significant value in the criminal investigation. Fingerprints and footprints are class evidence to be taken with molds or a fingerprinting kit. Fingerprints should be entered into AFIS. I should use a swab where applicable to collect fluids or skin cells which contain DNA. The shirt likely contains not only the blood of the woman, but the blood of the possible offender. DNA from biological evidence should be swabbed, placed in a vial, documented in notes, and on the container for the evidence chain of custody and included to be sent to the crime lab. The shirt will later be bagged and taken separately as physical evidence. I should make sure to swab under the fingernails to see if the DNA of the offender is there. She likely dug into their skin. Is there evidence of SA or semen present? This evidence should be marked, swabbed, and collected in a glass vial or cellophane bag. Is there evidence of personation? Did the officer take something, or did the offender display an excessive need for control over the victim as demonstrated by a possible SA and murder? These are all observations to be recorded, though not conclusively. Well, thank you, Mary Beth, for getting another membership. Evie's Hope got it. Congrats, Evie's. Hey, PJs, how you doing? Welcome in. So during the searching phase, the evidence should be marked with the following information in the field notes and later in the evidence seal/packaging. I am choosing to bag all evidence and not directly mark it, for it will be sent to the forensic lab. What? You have to mark it. I don't know why I said that. The size of the object, the physical nature of the object. If the evidence is a liquid, it should always be kept in an airtight container, such as a cellophane bag or glass vial, and marked. The value of the object and the number of the like objects, the case number pertaining to the evidence. The date and the exact time retrieved. The initials of the person who marked the evidence, BK in this case. That's weird to read, but okay. Yep, you wrote it. This process should be done so as many times as needed. It may occur up to 1,000 or more times. It must be counted accurately, and the quantity should be accurately recorded on the container. Ooh. Need me a breather for a second. Okay. And this document does get better. I mean, it's kind of weird reading Brian Kohlberger's own words, but they do have other evidence in here as well. of him purchasing some things. So, um, packaging the evidence for the forensic lab. Each item I collect, including but not limited to the knife, coat hanger, and bloody clothing on the woman, must be packaged in the proper way for forensic lab analysis. I must use separate containers for evidence, not mixing things up and causing confusion, no matter how daunting this may be. I must use new, clean packaging that was not previously used to avoid contamination. And I want you to listen to this. And he's so autistic that he can't do regular life things, but he can write this. Ann Taylor, you got something wrong with you, girl. Obviously, blood or other biological evidence renders a container spent. Avoiding metal containers, which can be reused, is ideal to confirm the container is indeed disposed of afterwards. If you guys don't mind, take a second, hit the like button for your girl, because she's saying all the words tonight, and I want to get out into the algorithm. I'm saying all the words. All the words are coming out. So, but we usually do say the words on here, just not this many. The package must be sealed with a strong medium, such as a strong tape. Item of clothing need to be kept as is and not folded. I must keep evidence that was found in a container as it is and mark it. I must include a letter of transmittal to state what type of analysis must be done. For example, wound analysis, DNA or fingerprinting, even ballistics. Again, I must account for and log all this evidence in the chain of custody form: where it was found, how and when, who is transporting it, and where is the evidence locker located. The woman must be removed by a certified professional and sealed, taken into custody by the coroner, and sent to the forensic medical examiner for forensic autopsy. This must all be logged in the field notes and initial crime report before compiled in the closing report. Did you know in order to get an autopsy and PA, you have to put in a petition? I had to write out a whole petition today. Yeah, I did. It sounds good too. The crime scene will be surveyed if necessary, but the longer the time it takes to do so, the more chance the crime scene is contaminated. When mailed, I must always send this evidence in registered mail enclosed with the secure receipt. This careful collection of evidence is necessary for the crime lab criminalist to be capable of analyzing all elements of the crime, being that they are rarely come on the scene. Then you got the evidence chain of custody and inventory receipts. The careful description of evidence, when and where the evidence was found, and who found it are all related to the evidence chain of custody. All evidence must be described and then transported and placed in an evidence locker. The identity of the transporter and the location of the evidence locker must be accounted for. If the evidence is taken out of the locker at the police department, it must be recorded who did so and why they did so. The knife, misshapen wire coat hanger, and any physical, biological, or trace evidence must be accounted for, bagged and sealed, and then kept in an evidence locker. Her bloody clothing should be examined as well, but this would infer that she must be moved and have items of clothing removed. This is something the forensic crime scene processing unit should do. If she had a cell phone or computer nearby, this should be described, logged, and transported to the digital forensic lab for digital forensic examination. Did she communicate with anyone? Did this communication indicate a conflict? Did her husband or boyfriend contact her? Did anyone else have contact with her? This may help investigators look in the right direction of things if things turn out to not be so obvious. Again, we can't assume it was the husband or boyfriend just because there may have been a history of domestic violence or a PFA, despite this being very common. Also, she may have children's furniture for her nieces or nephews, so we can't even assume that she has kids. When moved, all items will have inventory receipts which document the movement for the chain of custody form. All of this is for the accountability and integrity of the evidence and thus the proper outcome for the criminal investigation. Failing to do so leads to injustice. There can be a very clear link between victim and offender, but if this is not accounted for via chain of custody, then it will be inadmissible. They're not messing around. Sandra, thank you very much for the super sticker. That's very sweet of you. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. I need to get more cereal in the house, Mary Beth. I've been hungry at the weirdest times lately. I think this was his master's degree. This was his final. So, but that's a good, oh, I don't know. That's a good question. It wouldn't have been, I don't believe, because this was DeSalle's 2020. No, this could have been. Could have been. I mean, I would say that it was just a final. We should look up that teacher. And like not look into him or anything. Just look him up, see what he teaches, and see you know, um, like if he's still teaching there, how long he's taught for, how long the classes are for, academically. Like if he is maybe he's a senior professor. I don't know. That's a good question. That's a really good question, though. Now I'm like, and you're welcome. I don't mind reading this to you guys. As long as you guys will have me. So it says here, this may help investigators look at the right direction if things turn out to not be so obvious. Again, we can't assume. I read that. So when moved, all items have inventory receipts, which document the movement for the chain of custody form. All of this is for accountability, integrity of the evidence, and thus the proper outcome of the criminal investigation. Failing to do so leads to injustice. There can be a very clear link between victim and offender, but it's not accounted for via chain of custody, then it will be inadmissible. Man. Outreach to other agencies and immediate elements of the investigation. A lot of these inquiries would occur concurrently with the crime scene investigation. Does she have kids? The county records office should give us this information. If so, the welfare of the children should be ensured. We are aware that there are disheveled items of children's furniture around, but where are the kids? Calls to be made to all family members of the deceased would help narrow down locations. Calls to the clerk of court office to see if there is a PFA out on the husband or boyfriend should be made. The husband or boyfriend of the deceased woman should be contacted to establish an alibi. He needs to be immediately located and questioned. The kids should be located as soon as possible, and an Amber Alert should be set if they are not accounted for. Does their father even have rights to see the kids under normal circumstances, and did he take them? Neighbors should be questioned to see if the father was around or if any suspicious person was present. Brian Kohlberger, you are not as bad or off as Ann Taylor's making you out to be. I wouldn't let her do that to you, Kohlberger. Don't let her make you out to be like you don't know what you're talking about. I think you know exactly what you're talking about. Anyone who normally passes by the scene, such as a mailman, should be questioned and an alibi established. Where were the neighbors when this happened? Their alibis should be evident and supported. Did they notice anything unusual? Maybe the father was seen with the kids leaving the scene. This can be important evidence if the father is not responding and the kids are not located. The Amber Alert can be set based on the vehicle, plate numbers, and description of the father if applicable. Eyewitness and surveillance footage in the trailer park surrounding area, drugstore, and which oversees the trailer or nearby gas station can give us information on this crime. Surveillance footage is circumstantial evidence, but may lead investigators in the right direction and to the apprehension of the suspect. Okay, dokie, Brian Kohlberger. If we can't gather conclusive information by the end of the investigation, the FBI's Violent Criminal Apprehension Program, VICAP, can help. VICAP may utilize, if this case happens to be unrelated to a domestic dispute, this may be the work of a serial killer, though this is highly unlikely. Still, we are only looking at the facts of the investigation rather than conjecture, and we only say for sure once the subject is apprehended and the evidence is strong enough to say what happened with scientific certainty. The compilation of evidence is the preliminary report, progress report, closure report, and prosecution report. And I think we're getting close to this being done. Yeah, this is the last part of it. So my notes enabled that I wrote a thorough and accurate preliminary case report which contain all the facts of the case. I will need to update it with a progress report as we track down suspects and eventually create the closing and prosecution reports, which will be used in court if we get evidence of a specific person who committed this specific crime. The closing report will be the culmination of all the facts after investigation and lab analysis, which leads to the most accurate reconstruction of the scene possible. The steps that I have listed will ensure that the prosecution report and closing report reflect a proper investigative procedure with full admissibility of evidence into court. All of the notifications were made in the evidence chain of custody and investigative procedure ensure the integrity and accuracy of the evidence of the crime scene. With thorough documentation, it is unlikely that the defense will be able to discredit the investigation and render evidence inadmissible. The clear information will allow the jury to deliberate based on all the evidence. Finally, adding this information to the FBI's National Incident-Based Report System will allow the FBI's Uniform Crime Report to give some summative information in all applicable crimes to help police officers, criminologists, and criminal investigators understand the social trends of crime, thus aiding future cases. By Brian Kohberger. Now, things didn't look good for Brian Kohberger. I mean, things were looking okay back there, up here, like, we're like, okay, he can definitely, he knows right from wrong. I'm sorry, Ann Taylor, but you said today, well, we read today, that he can't do daily living. So that means he can't do daily living. You all know what that means. He can't take a bath, take a shower. Can't get dressed. He can't go to school. He can't drive. All those things. Bobo, I'm in Ohio. Ohio. I said it weird too. If you're wondering where the accent's from, it's like a combination of my family's from Philadelphia and they moved me to Ohio as a kid. So it's a little of both. Well, I'm glad you're here, Envision. What time in Africa? Oh, I don't know. It is 10:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here. And the date is March 27th. All the sunlight. Oh yeah, it's still sunlight where you are. It's dark as dark here, but yeah, I mean it's been great having the more sunlight. It's been really nice. We read through all this, right? Yeah. Okay. So if you haven't seen, there's been a lot of people talking about this. This is the Dick's Sporting Goods affidavit of compliance, and this is in reply to the grand jury. And it says for transactions outlined as requested. So this is the person that was from Dick's, and they were giving these files and the receipts or whatever to the state. Now, he did buy the balaclava at the Dick's Sporting Goods. That is true. Let me see if I can flip this around. Is that how you do it? Oh, what'd I do? There we go. Okay. I'm trying to think of what else. I think that's all he bought at the Dick's. But, I mean, that's not very smart. Like, did you use cash? I doubt it. I mean, they looked you up somehow, right? They didn't just put you in their computer system and you pop up on camera. Like, they ain't got it like that at Dick's. But why? I mean, why not just order it off on Amazon? Why not? Why not, Brian Kohberger? That's what I want to know. Why not just order all of it on Amazon? Because your click history shows that, I mean, you guys were getting stuff for the car rides and everything that you didn't need for a hike. You said they said it was for a hike. It could be for a hike. A tire inflator. You don't need that for a hike. A car repair kit. You don't need that for a hike. Where are you hiking? Out with Chelsea Grim, like out in Arizona, like where the rocks are, like the moon rocks, lava rocks. Like seriously. Because you don't need all those things. It almost sounds like a kit that you would put in your car in case you were driving on some back roads and you didn't want to have to, if you had to stop because your car broke down, you could fix it yourself. That's what that helps. That's what that tells me. And you wouldn't have to call AAA, you know? So this is a receipt for Xana Kernodle for Jack in the Box. It's all redacted except for, you know, it just says Jack in the Box. So I'm assuming that it's, you know, for Xana. I wish I could read this better. $22.35 is what she spent. What did you eat, girl? 11/13/2022 at 3:59 a.m. Wait a sec. Hold on a damn minute. Hold on a damn second. Okay, wait, hold on. If that's when her card was charged, that's when she ordered it. Like you're usually it comes out pretty quick. Do you know what I mean? Like if you order food, it comes out of your account pretty quick. We've been under the impression that the food was delivered at 4 a.m. But here it looks like, I know y'all can't see nothing with this. Let me see if I can blow it up a little bit for y'all. Look at that. That's just too small for anyone to even see. Let me see if I can do something. Why is it only when you all are on the screen? When I'm on, for some reason, when I'm on camera, I cannot blow anything up for you guys. But as soon as I watch, turn the camera off so y'all aren't looking at me. Let me go back over there. I bet you it blows up. See, oh my, every time. Every time. I don't know what it is. I get stage fright. Very funny. Hey, Trips True Talk. And welcome in everybody that I didn't see. So yeah, this is for the Jack in the Box. Now I'm gonna have to make it smaller again because I can make it smaller because we're gonna have to flip the pages again. It was just that one that was flipped. So this is a certificate of authenticity of business records. And this is, I am the custodian records or otherwise qualified to administer the records for DoorDash. So this is for DoorDash. In the matter of impaneling a grand jury. Affidavit of Shannon. I can't pronounce it. Glinsky. I don't know if that's a G or H. Or I don't know what that's supposed to be. And this is them just redacting that. U.S. Department of Commerce. Asheville, North Carolina. Just reading through these because I wasn't sure that was. Okay, this is for PNC. These are just like the search warrants that we've seen. And then this is them redacting some of the stuff. What did that say? Video was provided from the video cameras located at Sunset Mart to law enforcement and was made at the time of what is depicted. So Sunset Mart, Pullman, Washington. Wonder what you bought there, or I wonder if you were just driving by there and you were on camera. I'm curious. Oh, never mind. It was when he was driving by there because this is the date, November 13th, 2022 is accurate. The approximate times of 5:25 a.m. are accurate. Bum, bum, bum. This has got to be can you imagine Colbert, this stuff coming out? He's been sitting pretty cocky, you know? I'm going to say cocky. I'm not going to say he's been sitting autistic because we've never heard of this before today or, this week or last week, maybe. I just think he's stoic. The Jack in the Box was 11. Oh, wait, did that say 12 or 13? Hold on, we'll go up and I'll turn my head to the side. 11/13/2022. And it says at 3:59 exactly. And then it says right here, Jack in the Box down here. Good question, though. Where are we at? Okay, so we were here. This is for T-Mobile. And it gives you the numbers 4782 and 4818. So 4782, 4818. And the start date was August 1st. Isn't that his birthday? 11/16? What's Kohlberger's birthday? I'm thinking it's the 22nd or 26th or something now that I'm thinking of it, maybe. Nope. Okay, November 21st. I was wrong. I thought it was December. Or November, I mean. I thought it was November, but I thought it was like the 20-something. But I was right. It was the 21st. So it's not the 16th, but close enough. There's Ashley Banfield talking in the background. So the start date, and it looks like I said, they started at 8:20 to 11:16. And then such records were made at near the time of the occurrences of the matter set forth by information transmitted by a person with knowledge of those matters. Such records were kept in the course of regularly conducted business activity. Okay. And she's just saying that, the foregoing is true. I am the custodian of records for Verizon, and in that capacity, I certify that the attached records are true and accurate copies of the records created from the information maintained by Verizon in the actual course of business. It is Verizon's ordinary practice to maintain such records, and that said records were made contemporaneously with the transaction and events stated therein or within a reasonable time thereafter. So let's see. We got to flip the page again. Oh. Okay. So device number 758675235235. I need to figure out. I had all their phone numbers written down at one point. I bet you it's in that closet, and I bet you it's in one of that. It's in there. I have a 3-ring binder, but I bet it's in there. I need to get that out. That way, I have like the IMEI's numbers and everything. That way, we would have a little bit. We know a little bit more on that end. So I'll make sure I get that to you. But they have the iPhone, iPhone XR Red, iPhone 12 Pro Max, iPhone 12 Pro. And then the effective date 6/17/2019. This sounds like this might be like his home records. 6/11 or 2011, 2016, 2014. 2 of them are Apple. Could these be like family members of Brian Kohlberger? Because these dates are like forever back, Hey, Faith. Welcome in here. Okay. Let's keep going down. We don't have too many more to go through. Oops. Whoops. Okay. Pullman vehicle vessel licensing. So he went and got his car licensed. Purchase type, out of state, actual mileage. The odometer had 115,000 miles on that car. So why the heck would you put it? Why would you take it across country? I don't understand it. This is the title licensing. So, shows the make model of his car. There's his beautiful signature that we all have, like the worst signature when it comes to the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, I feel like. Now the sale date says it was April 20th of 2022. So he just got the car? Or no, I think that's when he was getting his no, that'd be right. Okay. So they bought him a car and they're like, or helped them get a car. And they're like, here you go, buddy. Go live your life, Certificate of title for vehicle. Well, it's gonna be my vehicle now. Look at me. I got the title and everything. Just kidding. Odometer disclosure, title extension statement. What? I'm not sure what this means. I think it's just for the title and stuff. So, Department of Licensing. Wow, there's a lot of stuff you got to put up with over there in Washington, huh? And then July, driver's registration. Why would he need to change it July? December, January. That'd be 8 months after his birthday. That's not even like 6 months after his birthday. There's his ID. I was trying to see, well, issued 7/1. So that's what this was saying, right? Yeah. So that's when he got his new license for Washington. He was excited to get his license for Washington, right? I mean, he was only there a little while and he was like, oh, I'm going to go get my Washington license. I'm not a PA resident anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's just weird to me because, like I told y'all before, Vincent Still, if he was here right now, I would show it to y'all. I would mark it all out, mark out what I needed to. I might have to do that to show you guys. He has his ID. I swear to you, it doesn't even look like the same dang person in there. I laugh every time I look at it. He has like this hair and it looks like a little, it looks like a little poofy ball on his head. If you guys know, and I've seen a picture of Vincent, he has his hair all the way down like a buzz cut. So for me to see him with like this hair, and it's just, I'm like, when is this picture taken? When you were 16, 18? I think it's his 21st birthday picture. He just looks so little. Oh, and tomorrow night on the live, I want to let you guys know that I do have some photos from the crime scene of now. Kaylee got them for us, a girl that's in our chat a lot. She's from the area. And she sent me, I believe that, and maybe a video, but I haven't had a chance to look at my email. So I'm not sure if she had a chance to see my email when she asked me if I wanted anything while she was over there. So if she didn't get it, it's okay. But it says here that he's 6 foot. He didn't change it when he came to Washington. He changed his ID. I think that if he grew any taller, I think he would change it on his ID. I don't know. Driving record. No restrictions, no requirements. There should be. The dude can't drive very well. I mean, he got pulled over 4 times, I think, from when he moved to Washington to when he went back home for before he got arrested. Like, dude, bruh. This is for the Washington Trust Bank file system. I'm assuming this is going to be for this is Spokane. So I don't know if this is for Brian or if this is for Ethan, but I'm not sure. Let's see. I would say Brian. Bank statements, ATM transaction images. I don't even know what that says. Online account opening application, net teller audit. track report, trust report. I can't read his writing. Executed on January 5th. Okay, so that's probably Brian Kohlberger. Oh, that was all of it. 70 pages out of 70 pages. Now, I won't read these other ones to you. That would just be torture. This I'm going to pin. We're going to watch this another day. But I did want to show you this. I wasn't sure if you guys got a chance to watch Miss Ashley Banfield. She's back in action. She's back. She's back, baby. She's back. If you don't know Ashley Banfield, she is Idaho's biggest, Brian Kohlberger's biggest fan, let's say. Not really. She hates Brian Kohlberger, I do believe. But she is back. She's back in action. I feel like she was out for a while. Like there wasn't a whole lot of news like trending in Idaho. And I like to see her fired up in this case. I just think it's just a good time to see the news reporters get fired up when, they're talking about a case. So she'll be talking about the mask that he had purchased before and everything that we kind of went over the last couple of lives. She's going to go over it. So we'll just listen in and I'll pause it here and there for commentary. And thank you again for being here tonight. If you guys don't mind, take a second, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We'd love to have you here. I'll put in the chat the members link if you would like to become a channel member. It does help the channel grow and we'd love to have you be a member here. So we'll go ahead and we'll play this while I get all that done.
But let's start here. You cannot gauge a murder case by the sheer tonnage of the paper documents that it produces. But if you could, Idaho versus Kohlberger really would be the trial of the century. Yet another metric ton of motions have just been filed or responded to, each one giving us another sneak peek at the main event, which is now less than 5 months away, the trial of Brian Kohlberger. We've been digging through all these documents throughout the day, and among the revelations is evidence tying the defendant, Brian Kohlberger, to the black balaclava mask that was spotted by a surviving housemate. The prosecutors say they have proof that Brian Kohlberger bought a black balaclava mask, quote, the same type of mask described by Dylan Mortensen, from a Dick's Sporting Goods store in January of 2022. That's about 8 months before the murders. And speaking of Dylan Mortensen, the defense is now attacking.
I didn't see this picture here. Oh, but I do have the picture of her stuff behind her, the eyebrows and stuff. We're going to look at that tomorrow because I about fell out of my damn chair today when I saw it. It's the same picture I was showing y'all, but when you zoom in, it was a different angle and I could zoom in. I was like, whoa. So I'll be sure to show you guys that tomorrow too.
Her description of a mask-wearing intruder with bushy eyebrows. The state says that is Kohlberger she's describing. The defense says, well, that witness, that roommate, that surviving roommate, was influenced by the detectives on the case. And they point to the fact that she admits she was drunk that night when she saw a stranger walking past her bedroom door. For what that's worth. In the earlier filings, prosecutors brought up this. Yeah, this is Kohlberger's purchase of a K-bar knife, which has never been found, and a knife sheath. That one matched the one found near 2 of the victims' bodies, and Kohlberger's DNA, the state says, is on that knife sheath. But the defense now claims that his Amazon purchase and his browsing history that showed he bought a K-bar knife and bought a knife sharpener and bought a sheath, a K-bar sheath. Well, the defense says that browsing history should be inadmissible because at the time he was living with his family and other users could have been doing the typing, searching, and the buying.
Trip.
They also say the knife and the sheath may have been part of a larger purchase with like camping supplies, including a tire inflator, a backpack, and bear spray. That is some good defense work right there. Because if you bought all those things, camping things, bear spray, tire inflator, backpack, and a K-bar knife in Pennsylvania, that would make sense. But if you can't produce that K-bar knife or the sheath or the sharpener, maybe not so much.
I don't think he can produce any of it. The backpack, I think the bear spray's gone. I think all of it's gone. I think he done used all of it.
Forget, he was also known to search, apparently according to the state, for a replacement knife and sheath. As for his medical conditions, we've got answers for that.
Yeah, why did he do that? Did he like sleep with the knife and sheath in his bed for like months before the murders? And then he was like, oh, can't sleep no more because I don't have my knife and my sheath next to me. Because like, why would you buy another one? Like, why would you go back and buy a second one? I mean, he doesn't hunt as far as we know, other than, you know, could be humans, but it could have been. Maybe he was going to commit another crime. Maybe he thought he got away with it. After, I don't know how many times, I don't know how long he, you know, made the second, like Amazon, you know, like, search, you know, for the second knife.
Now, too, his lawyers say that his developmental coordination disorder makes it impossible for Kohberger to be able to slash 4 people to death in such a short period of time. And the state has an answer for that. That a doctor says Brian's condition was a thing of the past, something that hasn't affected him for many, many years. And whatever he's got left is like the fine motor skills, you know, little things, not big things. I could go on, believe me, but I'm going to stop here and bring in the best resource I can think of in this story, and that is our own Brian Enton. Okay.
Best news resource that we could come up with. Brian News Daddy Enton. Look at him compared to 2022. I'm about to pull him up. Let me see. Brian Enton, 2022. Let's see if it'll. Oh, there he is. Look. Oh, yeah. He looks like a whole different person than me. I don't know why. Let's see if I can. Okay. So this is him standing out, freezing his butt off in that cold, cold, cold. I don't know. He just looks more confident to me. More confident as a reporter. I love Brian Enton.
Hey, Brian, let's start with the balaclava.
He's
again,
one of the good ones.
I couldn't believe it. Today, documents showing that they have the receipts. The state has the receipts for the black balaclava from Dick's Sporting Goods. However, if I'm the defense, I'll say this is Idaho. It is freezing in Idaho, and lots of people wear these balaclavas. Oh, and P.S., he bought it in January, in winter in Pennsylvania. I guess that makes sense, but it's really going to have to be add this to the mountain of evidence and see how the jury feels about it.
Yeah,
if you're not skiing, and he could be because he was from the Poconos, then I wouldn't really be buying one of those. I guess, unless I was sledding, maybe.
Good point. It's a good point that the defense likely will make. There was another just mountain of documents that were released late today that you mentioned that we're still going through. Reading the footnotes, a lot of these new nuggets, these bombshell nuggets are sort of buried in the documents, including this latest about the balaclava, which, by the way, just to be honest, I didn't even know what a balaclava was. At first, I was thinking baklava, like the Greek food, but no, it is a mask. You see it on your screen. That's what it looks like. It's similar to like something that we would wear skiing or that you'd wear on a very, very cold day. And the state got all of the records, got all of the shopping records, has the receipt from Dick's Sporting Goods, and says that Brian Kohberger bought that on January 10th, 2022, 11 months before the murders. You mentioned it. He was still living in Pennsylvania, and that they plan to bring this in during the trial, Ashley.
So I wonder if he just had this hanging around the house and he's like, I'm going to use that. Or if he bought this specifically because he knew he was going to do something when he went out there.
So, obviously question number one would be, that's fine if you bought the balaclava in Pennsylvania, or if your family bought the balaclava in Pennsylvania, show it. Where is it? If they have a black balaclava in the, things that they seized from his apartment
we
in
never
Washington,
heard of it.
That would be one thing, but I never saw one on the manifest. Did you?
Nope.
No, I do not remember seeing it on the manifest. Granted, a lot of new things continue to come out. It's possible that we just don't have that document because we didn't even know that the balaclava existed or was part of this until today with this latest document dump. I also think this is going to be really interesting, and I'm curious whether this comes up. Since he was living with his family, there's been talk of a shared Amazon account. So how are they going to prove who actually bought the mask? Because you mentioned, I mean, if you live in a cold climate, you know, could have been anyone in the family.
Sure, and I'm sure that anyone in the family wants to help his defense more than likely, so just produce the balaclava. And oftentimes, Brian, you know, detectives can do amazing things by matching certain fabrics with certain lots from that particular purchase. So they've got that purchase, they've got the information on it. Maybe they could go deep and find out if they do provide a balaclava, if it is the actual one that was purchased. I've seen that.
All they'd have to do is look in the inside of it. It would have a tag, I'm sure, with the SKU number or an item number, and you'll be able to tell. I mean, everybody that has a shirt on, you can tell, like if you flip your shirt on the side or, you know, in the tag, there are SKUs, there are numbers. They'd be able to match it up quick. Where's it at, Kohlberger?
That happened in trials before. And by the way, those are weird things to have. I never had one in my house until I married somebody who gets cold skiing and skis with one of those. But they are not every household has one of those. So they're unusual purchases. Speaking of that, go into that a little deeper, Brian, that the fact that the defense will say Brian Kohlberger was living at home in Pennsylvania and they were sharing, you know, Amazon purchases throughout the family. So you don't know who was doing the typing or doing the purchasing. And that would extend to the knife, to the knife sheath, to the knife sharpener, right? And any other purchases that they find unusual.
And this may be one of the reasons we may see Brian Kohlberger's family members, his parents and sister, called as witnesses during the trial. This has been brought up in some of the documents. This may be the reason why. You know, there's been discussions in these documents that I've been going through about, well, if they get called as witnesses, they're not allowed to be in the courtroom before that. They may not be allowed to be in court during the trial because they're going to be witnesses. Why would they be witnesses? This could very well be the reason. The state may want to nail down, call them up under oath. Are you the one who ordered the knife? Are you the one who ordered the mask? And if they say no, process of elimination, they'll, you know, explain to the jury that it was actually Brian Kohlberger.
And also,
do you think his mama will take up for him? I mean, that's all he's got left, I feel like.
Go one further, you know, Mr. Kohlberger, where's the knife? Mrs. Kohlberger, where's the knife and the sheath?
And the sharpener.
Sister of Brian Kohlberger, where is the knife sharpener? If any of you lived in the same house and were purchasing off the same computer. I think we're well past those days, though, for many people, where you're sharing a household computer. Most of us have our own accounts and our own computers. But I will give the defense that it's just produce the things that suddenly don't exist, that if a family member bought, I'm sure they would still have, you know, 11 months later. Okay.
And you notice how his new picture with him in Ada County, he's got the facial hair going on. Kind of like he can't live day to day, like doing shaving and stuff. Now all of a sudden, he's got a 5 o'clock shadow. Brian, you've been walking into court, baby-faced ever since the first time you went into court with them little scratches on your face because you didn't know how to use the old jail razor.
Okay, another question for you, and that is that the defense wants
He's always been, in every picture I think we've seen of him, he's always had his looks together about him. Like he's not attractive in my opinion, but he's had his looks together. Like he's dressed well, his shirt's tucked in, he's not wrinkly, he's not a mess. He doesn't have a huge beard, like growing out long hair. Do you know what I mean? Like where he's not taking care of himself and like not maintaining his look. And that's his look.
Some of the, I think the entire eyewitness testimony thrown out, right, from Dylan Mortensen. There's a couple of things. They say that the witness was drunk. They say it was dark. I've seen lots of cases that happen in the dark. And that millions of people have bushy eyebrows. And that her characterization of a witness with bushy eyebrows shouldn't count. This was interesting, though, and I didn't know about this, and maybe you could explain it. They say that the that the detectives influenced Dylan's memories about the eyebrows and the balaclava. What's that about?
Yeah, and that's what they're saying. And let me just tell you that, because I read all of the filings, many of this back and forth is because the defense wants basically everything thrown out, it feels like, and they are trying everything they can and seeing what sticks. So I wouldn't read into it too much that they're trying to get Dylan's testimony thrown out, but they are saying, and she did several interviews, so it's a little confusing. It's not like she just talked to police one time, but the defense is claiming that it was police who introduced the bushy eyebrows first, and that then she went along with that. We don't know whether that's really true. And in terms of this mask, this balaclava, I don't even know if I'm saying it right. That's how I think you say it. They are claiming that they also told her about the mask first, and then she went along with the mask. So that basically she may have been coaxed into saying those things. We haven't been able to listen to the interviews. Again, there were multiple. We haven't been able to see the full transcripts. So we don't really know whether or not that's totally true.
You are saying balaclava, right? You are definitely showing the fact that you're from Florida. The rest of us live with those things from Canada. But it was interesting. We just had up on the screen what looked like a piece of paper with a drawing on it, a very rudimentary drawing. I'm going to ask our control room to put that back up on the screen. This is apparently Dylan's drawing of the mask that she said she saw him wearing. And as rudimentary as it is, it sure looks a heck of a lot like the balaclava that we were showing earlier as well. It looks exactly like that. So I don't know if the detectives coached her to draw that, but if she drew that before they mentioned balaclava, I think the defense has a tough road.
I'm lost here with the picture. I'm going this way and I'm going this way, and I don't see a balaclava. I see a boat. I see a boat. If somebody was like, what is this a picture of? It looks almost like a boat, a speedboat.
To hoe there, because that looks a lot like it. You know, even in your terrified state, if you're drawing that, that looks a lot like it. So the other thing, I was so fascinated when the defense brought up all these developmental disorders they say Brian Kohberger has, OCD, autism, and then this other one, developmental coordination disorder. That's a DCD, developmental coordination disorder. And the defense made great hay about saying, you know, Brian's got this. He can't possibly have the coordination or speed to be able to pull off the kind of murder that happened in that house. I mean, it was all of about 20 minutes or so. And they did the test. The police did the test. They parked. They ran from the car. They went through the house. They mimicked what the murders must have been like. And then they ran from the house and, you know, pretended to get rid of all the bloody clothes and get back in the car, all in the prescribed time frame. And the defense said his condition makes it impossible for him to be able to do that. And then came the state's response to that. Take it away, Brian.
Yeah, and let me just read you this response because I think it's worth just reading word for word. I jotted it down here. This is what the state is saying that the expert that the Kohberger team said in relation to all this. To the extent defendant currently has any motor impairment, even according to his own expert, it affects only his fine motor dexterity and vulnerabilities in visual motion functions. The examples she uses for fine motor dexterity include when he had poor handwriting and trouble tying his shoes in the past. So the state is saying, wait a minute, all of a sudden you have brought in all of this evidence that he's on the autism spectrum, that he's got OCD, that he's got...
Look at him smiling. He's fine. He can smile. He knows how to. This is all an act. Be stoic.
Developmental coordination disorder.
He loves Ann.
He hadn't heard anything of.
I think he loves Ann, and I love that for him. I really do, because he's going to need somebody to treat him like a son when he's getting his ass handed to him in court on trial.
About until recently.
Allegedly.
What does that really have to do with anything? And they're saying even your own expert is saying that it is saying that it wouldn't have impacted whether or not he would have been capable of these murders.
Yeah, that sounded like the air going out of a balloon, for the defense pretty darn quickly. Fine motor skills, picking up something tiny and putting it into a little bottle. Gross motor skills, jamming a knife into 4 people very quickly and running from room to room. And there didn't seem to be any problems with his gross motor skills. Brian, great job. Thank you. I really appreciate you breaking that down. Keep your eyes out because those documents seem to drop at the most inopportune times. We appreciate this.
Yeah. Thanks, Ash.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find news.
I didn't know that was going to be ending that fast. Okay. So, I was going over to see if there was anything that we missed. We are in the algorithm. Thank you guys for that. I appreciate that. Appreciate that so very, 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 very much. I came over to look on the live time to see if there was anything that we were missing. I like to do that. And then I like to go over to, like at the end of the lives, I'll go over to like X, Twitter, and I'll check to see if there's anything over there that has come out that we just don't know about yet. Because sometimes that happens. Let's see if there's anything on here. What's this? Oh, that's really nice. Sebastian's case. I know this is like a different case, but it's going to be on America's Most Wanted in April. Wow. All 3 parents participated. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. I hope they were nice to each other, and I hope everything works out with that. And I hope that they find their boy. That's what we need to see. The parents working together. Thank goodness. Thank you, goodness. I retweeted it. Thank goodness. Jeez Louise. I'm still making my video. I just mentioned it yesterday, so it's going to be a little while before it's out. But I am making a video for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. When Sebastian Rogers does come home, I want him to type into Google his name and at least see one good thing done for him. Because some of the stuff, all of it has been bullcrap. All of it. Every creator out there that's covering it, it's bullshit. It's literally, they're doing it for the clicks, the views, the money, and that's it. If they're doing anything Sebastian Rogers related, whether that's fighting with another creator or fighting with another creator, because that's all they're doing, it's just a bunch of BS, and it's really getting old. And I'm not the only one that is thinking that. I am not the only one. I don't see anything on here. Just see a lot about Sebastian because I feel like for some reason Twitter is like full of, like my page is full of Sebastian stuff, and I don't know why, because I look up Brian Koberger stuff all the time. I don't even look up Sebastian stuff. I think it's just the people that I follow. They're covering it, so, or like like clipping it and stuff. Just says new document released. Okay, nope. Okay. Doesn't look like there's anything. Let's see what the latest is. No, it's just saying like wore a mask the night of the stabbings. Well, we knew that. So, oh, I did read that earlier. I'll have to go back and read that again. But I guess they showed who his doctors were. I guess the 3 of them all work together for America's Most Wanted for Sebastian Rogers. All 3 parents. That's really nice. That's really, really nice. Because I think about him every day. We don't cover the case anymore on this channel because it's become a shit show. Like a literal shit show. But I am going to make a video of Sebastian. And one of you guys, I can't remember who it was, said, what if the subscribers, like I clipped like your like your messages or something. So I thought that was a really good idea. So I'm going to think of a way to do that. And then I'll put up like a post or something, like a community tab, and I'll say, hey, everybody, this is for the video for Sebastian. Write us what you would want him to know, what you would want him to know. So I think it'll be nice. Hey, she fell in love. Which one? Yeah, no spokesperson. That's crazy. Most wanted. Yeah, I don't know why I think it's just maybe because they most wanted him to come home. Does what's his name still do it? Callahan, or not Callahan, his dad. What's his dad's name? John? I'm trying to think of their last name. What's their last name? Welsh. John Welsh. John Welsh? Whatever his name is. I think that he might have is the Welsh guy still doing it? Walsh? I'm saying it's Walsh. It's not Welsh, it's Walsh. But if it's him doing it still, then I could see why he would want to help Sebastian's case, because his little boy, John Walsh, thank you. Because his little boy was kidnapped and unalived. And so I could, Callahan is his son. Yeah, I was like, I know his son's name. I can't think of his name now. And I'm more into his generation because I watched him before I watched Callahan, John Walsh. Yeah, that's who it is. And Adam Walsh, yes. You think his son is doing it? Oh, maybe Callahan is doing it. Because I know Callahan will do a lot of some of the cases by himself too. That's really cool that they're going to cover missing kids. That's really cool. Because, I mean, really, John Walsh was meant to be on this earth to help criminals be apprehended. I mean, the dude has, Spanish speaking translators, the whole nine, I'm sure he has French and everything now, but back in the day, that was like a big thing. He's like, don't worry, we will not, come to you. We'll not come for you. All that, we just want the information. And he really did a lot of really good things. So I'm hoping they find Sebastian. Really, Therese, you live there? Oh man. It still is gripping, I think. Did he really? I didn't know that. TCL, I didn't know that. That's awesome. It is a good show. I haven't seen it in forever. It's been a while since I've seen America's Most Wanted. But I know that they do have a good team of people there, Wow. Well, shoot. Bring everybody in, and that's national. That's national news. That's bigger than court TV. That's bigger than all of that, I feel like, anyway. So I know it's really sad, but Sebastian isn't as popular in the real world as he is on YouTube. And that's a problem. We need to get the good things out though about Sebastian into the real world, because if I talk to a doctor or I talk to a friend and I'm like, hey, you've heard of Sebastian Rogers' case? They're like, nope. So yeah, they used to put on milk cartons. They said they stopped doing that, I think, because why did they say they stopped doing that? Cost too much or something? I don't want to say that. I forget what it was. That is the best news this case has seen. Yeah. I'm excited to watch it. So I'll be there to watch it and support the parents. And, I hope that they can continue to work together. Maybe seeing J is for Justice putting out all of those photos of Sebastian and those videos, maybe, and I'm not saying anything bad about Seth, but maybe that showed Seth hey, maybe it put him back into perspective. Hey, wait, this guy did love my kid. Because he's been having a lot of creators in his ear for a long time. So, I don't know, just crazy. What date for what? I'm sorry, Ladybug. I just was talking about it and you're asking me and I'm like, huh? Oh, what's the date for the show? I don't know what the date for the show. That I don't know. But I'll let you guys know when I find out. It just said, or wait, did it say? Let's go back to my. Okay, right here. Okay, let's see. April. It just says in April. So yeah, it just says in April. But that's really cool. That's pretty cool. So in April sometime. Oh yeah. March 31st? Yeah, we could do. Let me write that down. Let me get a post-it note because it's brighter. Now that is a good case. That's a case I would love to see. I would love to see a conclusion for that case, but that may be one that we may never get an answer to. I was actually going to take you guys if I can get up there, which I should be able to. Okay, I need ugly tuna footage. Because I know that you can still go up like the escalator there, I'm pretty sure. It's just a different restaurant. It's not the Ugly Tuna anymore. I've actually been there to the Ugly Tuna, to that bar where he was at that night he died. A couple times. I've been there probably 4 or 5 times. We would go and sit outside on like the balcony. We thought we were so cool because we were 21 or 20. We were 21. Yeah, we were 21 and we could drink at the bars, So we thought we were just so cool. So we would go up to Ohio State because, that's where all the cute boys were. So yeah, I could definitely do that. I would love to see it solved for his brother's sake. I mean, his mom died of cancer. His dad passed. I think it's just his brother now. Now, do I think maybe something happened at that construction site? Maybe. But yeah, we'll definitely talk about it. I know all about that case. So that will be hard. That'll be like nothing much to, it's not like I have to like go and research the whole case. You know what I mean? I know most of it. So, and if you guys don't know about Brian Schaefer's case, he was a student at Ohio State University. He was going for his doctorate. Very attractive guy. I'm not saying that, that means anything, but he was just, very pleasing to look at. Had a great family. His mom had cancer. And he was engaged and he goes missing. Just boop, missing after going to a bar with his friends. And you go up escalators to get to the bar. There's always a cop outside the door. And you go into the bar. That's the only way you can go in or out. Well, there was another back entrance for construction, but it was closed because of construction. So it's a really good case. Yeah, we'll have to go over that. And we'll have to talk about the Elfster too. But thank you guys all for being here tonight. I appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow. I might come back on tomorrow afternoon and do a little live, tell you what happened with my dog, She's back here sleeping away. I'm wearing jeans decor tomorrow. Don't come for me. Mom, don't come for me. I cannot find anything that's like the only dressy thing I have that's like court appropriate, because I have everything's court appropriate, so I don't wear anything that's like low cut or nothing, but it's a jean like dress, and I don't really want to dress up like that, So I went to Target to try to find some cute pants because I saw these ones that I liked and they didn't have my size anymore. So, I think I'll be okay. We're debating. Yes, I did say I see where Riley Schran's family is suing the fraternity. That's a little much, I think, but they were all kids in a way, but yeah, I think I'll be okay in court, but we are thinking maybe doing a continuance because I don't want to go in there and say guilty when I don't feel like I'm guilty. Like Vincent talked to a paralegal today, so not really a lawyer, but paralegal. And he talked to a paralegal today and they were telling him to like get a lawyer and like don't say you're guilty because then you may have to pay restitution. Like, and we had something planned out. I was going to pay all of it pretty much, except for like 600 of it, I think. And it was over 1,000 I was going to end up giving her. And then she went to the pound, tried to get my dog to be put to sleep, and tried to sue me at the pound. She tried to get a civil suit started at the pound, at the Humane Society. I said, you have no control over that. And the guy was like, I know. She thought I did. So it's just like, so I got a citation for my dog because she bit another dog. My dog was leashed, and everybody that we keep talking to keeps saying your dog was leashed and theirs weren't. And that's where I keep having a problem because my dogs were leashed. Like that's the proper way. So I think what I might do is do either a no contest plea and say, can I tell you at least my story? Because the guy at the Humane Society didn't even let me have a conversation. I didn't get to tell my side of the story. He said, well, you were driving the vehicle. That's what he was trying to compare it to. Well, she ass-ended me then if I'm driving the vehicle. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so crazy. So I'm just going to go tomorrow. I think I'm going to do like a continuance and just be like, I need more time to think about all this. You know what I mean? Because I thought about just going in there tomorrow and just being like, no contest. I feel like I don't feel like I'm guilty, but if you were to put it in front of a jury of my peers, they may find me guilty. The only reason I would even think that is because her dog looks worse than my dog. You know what I mean? And that's all. Right? My dog was leashed and hers wasn't. Yeah. And I was on the ground because I was like holding them back so much I fell. Like I was just trying so hard. And every morning I wrote out a schedule for her. She asked me to when we take our dogs out. Vincent takes them out same time every morning. She's been out there every day with her dog. Yeah, it is the same as guilty. They just say, "Oh, well, thanks for saying no contest, but you're guilty." That's usually what they say. Yeah. So we had a plan worked out. I went down there and talked to this lady that I swear she was on crack or speed or something, allegedly. But for 2 hours, I talked to her. We gave her some money because she called me at the vet and said she couldn't leave the vet without $300 to take her dog home. What do I say to that? Like, no, I mean, I was trying to be neighborly, you know? So yeah, I'm going to get an attorney. I'm going to call my attorney. My attorney, he's usually pretty dead on with things. And like, he'll give it to me straight. You know what I mean? So like, why be fake, right? Like, so we had this plan. I was going to pay her this money. I was going to make her dog little eye patches. I felt so bad for her little dog, and I still do. It's not the dog's fault. I mean, it is the dog's fault because the dog ran out, but you know what I mean? And we had an understanding, like a gentleman's handshake. I still consider that like a legal binding contract. Like your word is all you have. Your word is all you have in this world, you know? And like, I take my word very seriously. When I give someone my word, they've got my word, especially when I tell them give them my word and Vincent's word, you know? And, yeah, I just don't like that. I don't like the fact that she took her dog and went to Greene County, the pound, went all the way out far and yonder, said that she was living somewhere else when she's not. She's living in these apartments. I think illegally, like not illegally, like, you know, alien like, but like she's not supposed to be here. She's not on the lease. And so she then tells them, well, how do I start a civil suit against her? Like, what? As soon as he told me that, I said, I ain't giving her a penny. No, not anymore. Not anymore. No, you made me stubborn. So I'm going to go and I'm going to file a continuance, and why be fake? Just give it to me. If you're going to call the Humane Society, like go call them. Like I would have probably, I don't know what I would have done in that situation, because that's a bad situation to be in. But like, I wouldn't have went behind the person's back when she was trying to help me, you know? So I tried to help. I tried to do the right thing, you know, just because my dog did bite her dog. Like at the end of the day, that is true. But my dog was on a leash, and she wasn't far. It wasn't like she was retracted out. She was in. I mean, she was within 5 feet of me, 6 feet most. That's about as much as most regular leashes are. I mean, am I supposed to put her on my butt when she needs to go to the bathroom? Can't do that. She won't go to the bathroom. But thank you guys for letting me complain a little bit. it'll be okay. Tomorrow will be fine. I'm gonna just do a continuance and be on with it, you know, and then we'll go to the next court date. I'm like, I've had a lot of like stupid, mediocre tickets in my life. And I've always been like, continuance. So I told Vincent today, I was like, my middle name is Continuance. We'll be fine. So he's just scared. He thought tomorrow, like, I would have to pay like a bunch of money or, you know, and I'm like, no, nothing's going to happen tomorrow. We'll be fine. Nothing's happening. But thank you guys for being here tonight. I appreciate you guys so much. I'm going to go let the girls out. The bad one, she's not bad at all. She just sneezed. She's getting up. I don't know what she's doing. Where are you going, Riley? Riley. When I say her name like that, it makes her stop. She stopped like dead in her tracks. But thank you guys for being here. I'll see you guys all tomorrow and have a wonderful evening. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share the video if you don't mind. Bye, guys.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know